Hello friends, this is Worm. I do not participate in clickbait. And today we are back with our series here talking about what can we do. And of course, we have Void Warlock on the menu today. And Void Warlock is, full disclosure, a class that I do, or a subclass, sorry, that I do not use hardly at all. I've rarely used it. Of course, I got use it for this background gameplay, by the way. Second game is much better than the game you're watching here. At any rate, Void Warlock is in a pretty rough shape based on my usage, right? Now, I want to start out here by saying something that is super, it's aggravating to me about this class. I think that I wish we could nerf some way, but there is no way to nerf it. And so this is not actually a part of the changes I would make or anything like that. This is just, a little thing that really gets me like what's the word here, makes me frustrated. And that's why that's my thoughts on that. But the thing that really frustrates me about the Void Warlock in particular, that you can't really nerf without substantially hurting the class itself, is Child of the Old Gods is literally free wall hacks, right? I want to get this out there just to make it known, I guess. But I wouldn't change it in any way, shape, or form. So do not go in the comments saying, why do you want to nerf Child? Nobody's calling for a nerf to Child of the Old Gods. But it's free wall hacks, which is incredibly frustrating from my personal perspective. But you know what? Let's talk about the change that I would actually make to Void Warlock. And let's be real. There is one key element of Void Warlock that I don't know why Bungie thought it would be a good idea to take out of the game, and that is the ability to activate Devour on command, right? Currently, Titans, nice voice crack, Titans can on command cast a barricade and get an overshield with a certain aspect. Hunters on command, sorry, let me adjust that, on command can turn invisible with something as simple as a dodge. Warlocks do not have the ability to on command activate Devour. You have to get a kill, or through an aspect, right? An aspect, you have to get a kill with a void ability to activate Devour. I would almost argue that in the Crucible, it's easier to pick up an Orb of Power or a Void Breach than it is to get a kill with an ability, right, in the Crucible. And so I don't know why Bungie took this out. I don't know if they thought, oh, Devour is a little bit too powerful, or what their thought process was behind it. But this is not okay. And this is something that needs to change. Now, this is probably one of the most dynamic, complicated changes that we would have to make to any of the subclass that we're talking about, right? And it is a buff. It's a big buff. But I think that Devour on Warlock only should have some way of instantly activating. And what better way to incorporate the activation of Devour than through Chaos Accelerant? Okay, for those of y'all who may be unaware, Chaos Accelerant is an aspect on the Warlock, on Voidlock subclass, that basically when you charge up your grenade, you can superpower it, right? So Vortex Grenade is bigger and lasts longer. Scatter Grenades hit harder, and I think there's more projectiles, like the Magnetic Grenade, really cool one, turns into the handheld Supernova, right? All of these things, all these different grenades, I think, except Void Wall and Void Spike, I think those are the only two that don't actually have a conversion, so to speak, right? But these different grenades, through Chaos Accelerant, you can overcharge them and make them good, right? Why not have it so that when you overcharge your grenade, upon casting that grenade, you instantly get Devoured, whether you get a kill or not? Right? Because I know somebody's gonna say, oh, well, it shouldn't be hard to get a kill with, these grenades. No. Let's be real. In 2023, current state of the game, Destiny 2 right now, dying to abilities, aside from super abilities, is unheard of. I don't, if I'm killed by a grenade, it is because I am pubed. I have literally 2 health points left, and I get a grenade tossed, around the corner at me or something like that. Or maybe I get hit with a hunter throwing knife. Getting killed by abilities is much less common than it used to be, right? So to have to get and especially void abilities, like there are, off the top of my head, I think the strongest void abilities in the game, in terms of melees and grenades, of course, is, I would say, Shield Bash, which can deal a pretty substantial amount of damage, but it can't one hit. You know, and yes, we could technically say, oh, well, if you stand in a vortex, you're gonna die. Yeah, but who stands in a vortex, right? Nobody does. So, you know, abilities, they're not as strong as they once were. So getting ability kills in the Crucible is almost unheard of. And let's not kid ourselves. Pocket Singularity, which we're gonna talk about Pocket Singularity in a little bit. Pocket Singularity ain't getting no kills, right? It is terrible. But yeah, let's talk about Chaos Accelerant and how we could potentially work things around. So obviously, Chaos Accelerant should, as soon as you throw that overcharge grenade, it should activate Devour, right? Because in the past, Devour, you could actually hold your grenade, consume it, and you would lose your grenade, but you would get Devour, right? I think we could go, you know, same way, right? You charge it up, throw it, it's gone, but you get Devour and it's on the battlefield. Like, I think that would be a huge buff to Voidlock, right? You know, the ability to get Devour that way. However, it leaves some room. Well, what about Feed the Void? Because Feed the Void is the other Warlock aspect that has to do with Devour, and it's any ability kill you get procs Devour. And what I would say with Feed the Void is, when you have Feed the Void equipped, you get a buffed up, a better version of Devour that gives you not only the 15% grenade energy, I would say it gives you 25% grenade energy every time you get a kill if you have Feed the Void on, and it gives you 15% melee and 15% of your class ability back if you have Feed the Void, right? When you activate Devour. And Feed the Void, like, sure, yeah, it can still, you know, it can still proc Devour on ability kills or something like that. Like, I don't know, I haven't really, like, thought about this too terribly in depth. What I do know is that Warlocks need an aspect that can give them the ability to pop Devour on demand. None of this, oh, get a kill, then you get it. No. Like again, Titans can have a barricade on command. Hunters can have invis on commands. Warlocks need Devour on demand. And that's the first big change I would make. And like I said, I think Chaos Accelerant is the perfect way to do it. And then, you know, whatever Bungie wants to do with Feed the Void, you know, they can do that. I think that just giving Feed the Void more powers, you know, giving melee and class ability energy on top of extra grenade energy would be a fantastic play for them to do. But yeah, that is, in my opinion, like the biggest issue we have with Warlock currently is the inability to get Devour on command. So the next thing that's like, it's another buff that I think Warlock is in need of, Voidlock in particular is in need of, is a buff to Pocket Singularity. Because Pocket Singularity, like, it is a very cool melee. Like, you know, it's ranged, which is cool. You can throw it, you know, and it'll hit and bounce somebody back. But it does, like, I mean, it does like 30 damage or something. I don't actually know the damage numbers, so don't quote me on that. But it doesn't do like hardly any damage, it seems like. You know, like, I get hit with a Pocket Singularity and like I can still clean somebody up with an SMG. Like, the knockback is good, but it knocks you back like what, like 3 meters or something like that. Like, I think that the Pocket Singularity needs a major buff and a major overhaul. So how would we go about doing that? Well, obviously, what does it currently do now? It pushes targets back and it makes them volatile, right? I would say when you hit an enemy with Pocket Singularity, it still makes them volatile, but it also weakens them. And you know what? Why not throw in suppression too, right? Like all 3 void debuffs come from this one melee, right? Maybe that's too powerful. I don't know. I would say weaken, though. I'd say it needs to make them volatile and weaken them, and it needs to deal more damage. And I think Bungie decided to go with a conservative damage amount on Pocket Singularity, because it is like, I mean, it's a guaranteed hit. Like, if you throw it, literally it will go forward, and if there's somebody around the corner, it will 90 degrees turn and hit somebody around the corner. Like, it is a very aggressive melee. But again, like, it's doing 30 damage or something. Like, it's doing a low amount of damage. Like, maybe it's not 30. It's low, though. It's way too low. I think it's probably one of the lowest, like, damage amounts in the game, other than maybe Arcane Needle. Like, I would say it probably deals as much damage as Arcane Needle, which is like 60 or 50, something like that. But Anyways, yeah, that would be the first thing. Give it the weaken effect. Also, I think that knockback should be a lot more than what it is currently, and a lot more jarring. You know, when you get hit with pocket singularity, like I said, I've been hit with it, and I can still kill the Warlock with like an SMG or something because it knocks you back like, you know, 4 meters, and it doesn't really disrupt your aim or anything like that. I think that being hit by pocket singularity should do like almost like a Gemini Jester style of misdirection, right? You know, your radar goes away and you get that kind of black flash on your screen. And then, you know, just doing that would substantially buff the melee because, you know, I feel like it is a defensive melee. It's not at all meant to be a melee that, you know, you're going to use offensively and go in and be crazy. You know, I'm about to go on wild kills. It's defensive. You know, somebody's rushing you with a shotgun, throw pocket, you know, throw pocket singularity at him, bumps them back. There you go. You know, but I think it needs more. And so I think that, you know, giving it the weaken effect on the enemy, number one, and then number two, you know, giving it that disruption. Like if you're not going to just flat out buff the damage, like Bungie could make it much better if they just flat out buff the damage to where it deals, you know, like 100 damage, like, you know, same as a standard melee, right? You know, I think that if they push past 100, then it would probably get to a point where it's like, okay, this is a little bit broken because of the aggression that the tracking has. But, you know, dealing 100 damage, I don't see right off the bat would be like, you know, anything OP or, you know, anything like that. So that would be the other change I'd make. So yeah, pocket singularity and the ability to activate devour on command. Those are the two buffs that I think Void Warlock needs to be more effective in the Crucible, right? And again, it's not, you know, Titan has the ability to instantly get a barricade on command. Hunters can get invis on command. Warlocks should have the ability to get devour on command. That is like one of the biggest key takeaways I want to put out there for this video. Okay. And I think you can do it through Chaos Accelerator, but you know, we already talked about that. And then of course, pocket singularity, it's a weak feeling melee. Like I used it a couple times in my play session. I don't know if I used it in these particular games, but I know in a couple of my play sessions, it was cool so that I could throw somebody back, but when they can continue to shoot me after being knocked back, like it almost puts you at a disadvantage, you know, because you throw it out, you know, you have to draw your weapon back up. Like all it does is knock them back. They can still be shooting at you. I don't know. Yeah, that's my thoughts though. Of course, I want to hear your thoughts on Void Warlock. What do you think about the buffs that, you know, I talked about here? Do you think Void Warlock needs the ability to activate Devour on command? Or do you think that it's fine where it is? Do you think the pocket singularity is good where it is? Or do you think it needs to be buffed? Do you think it needs to be nerfed? Like, I want to hear all your thoughts in the comments because I do read all the comments, even though I don't respond to them. Sorry about that. But yeah, that's it for this video. Of course, drop a like if you enjoyed the video. Subscribe for more daily Destiny content and conversations like this one. And do me a favor, watch the videos that you see on the end screen because for whatever reason, YouTube thinks you'll like them. And I'll see y'all in the next one.